Hi, Albert. Good to have you with us.
Good morning, Hanan.
Good morning. We thought to have a show about the World Environment Day, which is coming up on June 5th.
Absolutely.
And I thought you would be the best one to start this series with, because you have many roles, many hats that all connected to this same topic. I want you to introduce yourself to us.
Well, thank you, Hanan. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure being at this stage, at this platform with CUD. As you mentioned, the World Environment Day is coming on June 5th. It has been, running for so many years, so far 50 years, in fact. Wow. We are celebrating this year 50 years since the launch of the first conference. Mm-hmm. It was a conference by the United Nations about the human environment. And
when was it? The very first? What was
it? The conference was in 1972, okay. And in 1973, in fact, the World Environment Day has been announced on the 5th of June, and okay. Because it coincided that conference took place on the 5th of June, okay. So they made it regularly on a yearly basis.
And is there a reason? I'm sure there is a story behind the 5th of June.
Yeah.
And June.
Well, again, it's that conference because it took place on that specific date. And we all know that June marks, the start of the summer. Yeah. This is where people are out. They are more into outdoors. They are more into contact with nature.
Everything is blooming.
Everything is blooming, of course. And then people are having outdoor activities like picnics, like hiking, and all these things that are related to the environment. The sea is getting warmer, and then we have more and more activities. Yes. So that was the thing.
In UAE, how are we positioning ourselves for this type of events and initiatives, worldwide initiatives?
In the past years, we saw like a huge development in this regard, right. And we saw a lot of engagement, a lot of from different authorities, organizations, and the UAE today is embracing this in big time. And, it's this month of this specific year, in fact, Abu Dhabi, the capital of the UAE, is putting now a ban on the use of the plastic bags.
I saw that.
That
is amazing.
We've been waiting for this, to happen. And hopefully it's going to be duplicated in all the other Emirates soon.
Absolutely. So when regular people hear environment, I bet you they think it's recycling, it's so simple. It's really close to your home. Is there anything more to it than that?
Well, absolutely. When we are talking about the environment, we are talking about, in fact, if we look at the Sustainable Development Goals that were put by the United Nations, and as we are in the decade of action now towards 2030, when is the deadline for the implementation of these SDGs, we can see that life on land and life below water are main elements. The climate change, it's in fact the way we are adapting to that. Sustainable cities, the SDG number 11 is very important.
Yes.
And we expect that by 2050, more than 70% of the worldwide population will be living in urban areas. So can we imagine like all these urban areas, how they will be looking like? Yeah. In fact, that's why it's very important, very crucial to educate the people, to raise awareness of the importance of the environment and to transform those areas into ecosystems that are really able to, for people to live in harmony, with nature and converting the concrete, the cement buildings that we are having into green buildings and green spaces.
You mentioned the word education and raising awareness, and I can tell you that we have been in the education era for many, many, many years. And we see the kids also coming to parents and forcing them to implement changes at home. So the education piece, I think we're doing somewhat of a good job. It's never enough. We have to continue.
Sure.
I want to ask you, is there any concrete actionable items that the government should be, we know that Abu Dhabi forced the ban of using plastic bags, but is there anything else that we should do? Not necessarily government forced, but as individuals. And how is that going to impact in the long run? What if you do this? Here's what you could save. Could you speak to that, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, it's great to see that the new generation is very much aware
True.
of what is happening, and we can see now, like among the youngsters and like millennials, also, we have people who are who saw what is happening, and then they felt that no, we need to be in a better place. We need to have a better planet, and we have only one planet. This is, in fact, the theme
It's
of
our
this.
home.
Yeah,
Yes.
and this is the theme of this year's Environment Day in Sweden. So only one planet. So we have this planet that we need to take care of and to protect and to embrace. Now, what we can do, back to your question, is in fact by implementing programs that are related to the environment
Sure.
and by promoting the Sustainable Development Goals and mapping our educational programs, starting from schools to universities with the SDGs, with the Sustainable Development Goals. I think this is the roadmap that we need all to follow. And then we can see that in everything that we are doing, whatever we are doing, in any discipline, we can really reach the implementation and advancement of these SDGs.
Yeah. It all starts with education,
Absolutely.
and education. As a director for Sustainability and Innovation Center, what are your goals
Well,
for COD?
in fact, I've been putting with the senior management of the university and with the president of the university, again, a roadmap, a plan, different initiatives that we will be starting implementing at CUD, starting with workshops and seminars internally to the different faculties that we are having here, different schools at CUD. Then reaching out to the government, also under my capacity as director of the Sustainability and Innovation Center, and also with SIAD, with the United Nations, the Council for International Accreditation of Architecture and Design. We are trying to bridge, those, initiatives and to take them, to register them with the United Nations, and then to shed the light on what we are doing here, not only at the university level, but taking this locally, regionally, and internationally. Absolutely. And I think this will help positioning not only CUD, but also Dubai and the UAE as a big player and pioneer in the advancement of the environment initiatives.
That's amazing. I'm proud to see CUD positioning itself to be one of those pioneers.
Absolutely.
Why Sweden this year? How come Sweden is hosting the World Environment Day?
Well, the thing is that every year we have the 197 today members of the United Nations who signed, on the chart of the adoption of the Environment Day. So these members who are participating, usually we have over 145 countries participating effectively in the conference and the event. They vote at the end for a city that will be hosting the following year this activities. And many cities are bidding for that. They present their files, like in every big event, and one city is chosen. This year, in fact, Stockholm, the capital of Sweden, has been chosen. And it's not a coincidence because Stockholm did significant progress in terms of the environment. I give an example. All the public transportation in Stockholm today are running on renewable energy. Wow. So they moved out from the fossil fuels and all that.
Sure.
So we're talking about the buses, the trains, and this is showing and proving that a capital can thrive even by moving away from the conventional
And they did example
sources.
that at Expo 2020. Their pavilion was open and full of trees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, we are very lucky that we've been here, in Dubai, that is hosting this this great event.
I was the only one that was no lineup, I think, and it was just I felt it was in the forest.
Exactly. You go there, the Swedish pavilion. It was in fact embracing this concept, this approach. So the Swedish pavilion was about a forest of trees, long trees, where all the senses are entering into action. Absolutely. So you move in, you feel the sounds of nature, and you feel the connection, that real connection, and you feel that you are in Scandinavia. You are there. And that was a very strong message, and it left a big mark because it was different from anything else.
Could you, from your observations and readings, and you're obviously very interested in this topic, could you tell which country will be next? Let's take us
Well,
guess.
well, again, as I said, that the countries will be voting. You
Yes.
know, we don't want to show like favorism for any country over another.
But
But
just consciously, like intuitively, just seeing who.
I
could
would
be.
like to wish the best for everyone, and I would love, and I think
Yes.
that you will be as well supporting this idea that soon we'll be seeing Dubai,
Absolutely.
you know, bidding
Yes.
for hosting
Yes.
this great,
Why not?
event.
Why not?
Why not?
When
Absolutely.
we see, in fact, when we see the government taking this type of decisions, it does demonstrate how serious they are about environment.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
especially now today, the UAE really is entering a new era and is taking a lead in the region
Yeah.
and in terms of raising awareness about sustainability, about innovation, about the environment, and we would love to see this happening here.
I'll be one of those that supports
We
this
all do.
and do
We all do.
anything to move forward with
Absolutely.
it. So if we speak to our community, and our community is everyone, students, academia, professionals,
Sure.
UAE, the world. Give them 3 actionable changes they could implement and have them know what type of impacts they are actually making by changing certain simple things, daily habits, or I'll leave you the space to come up with those.
Well, thank you. Well, I think the first thing that I would start with is that to let people, I invite everyone really to read about the Sustainable Development Goals, these 17 goals that were put by the United Nations and that every country in the world signed on are really, again, like the roadmap
and
for saving the planet.
They can find it on the web.
Exactly.
Website.
They go to the website of the United Nations, or they put anywhere, Sustainable Development Goals, and they can read about those, and they can see all the initiatives. So the first thing is like reading about them and seeing these goals, and then, the second thing will be start thinking about an initiative, what you can do yourself, at the individual level and also within the community. If you are coming out with an idea, that will be great. Put it down. And then the third action, reach out to us.
Absolutely.
We are here, we are
Absolutely.
here. We are at the center of innovation and sustainability at the Canadian University, Dubai, in the heart of Dubai, in City Walk. So you can reach out to us and then we will try definitely all our best in order to put these initiatives, into action. And again, maybe, personally under my capacity with also with SIAD, the official partner of the United Nations, we can bring this to the United Nations, register this as a partnership, and then it's going to be a global initiative that runs around the world.
What I'm collecting from this vibe, from what you're saying, is that this is a community effort. There are people here to support this idea, make it work, make it be sustainable, right?
Sure.
And also I want to add to what you said is that let's think about the environment as not just this scientific thing. It's actually the earth is our home.
Exactly.
Is when you go home, you don't want to see dirt, you want to breathe, you want to be able to sit and enjoy. It is the earth. So look at it that way, and from that space, go. Right?
It's only one planet.
It's
Again,
only one
it's the
planet.
theme, yeah?
Exactly.
So we need to remember that this
Yes.
will be the theme for this year.
Absolutely.
And this should be like, this is what we need to keep in the back of our minds when we think about anything for the future.
Awesome.
Instead of like investing so much in going, exploring the space, the universe, it's not a coincidence that all these optimal conditions were put together, gathered together to let the human species, develop on this planet. We have millions of galaxies and planets and whatever. Exactly, but we are here.
Yeah.
So if we are looking to these initiatives and to this planet as our home, believing into it, there is much to be done. And then, of course, we can have all the population living in harmony with nature. That is the main thing.
I am super delighted to have you today, and we had this conversation. Thank you so much for giving us your time to launch the World Environment Day here at CUD.
Thank you so much, Hanan. Thank you for
pleasure.
CUD.
My pleasure.